Want to sell tickets? Try offering a beloved children's character. I want to talk about Cars 3. Question: does anyone remember this trailer? Yeah, I remember being in the movie theater. I forgot for what movie, but I remember being in the movie theater and watching this trailer and the audience just being quiet as you saw Lightning McQueen like rolling and all the pieces coming off. It felt really dark, and I didn't really know how to put together how I felt about it. But there was an intrigue there to be like, okay, they're doing something different with the Cars franchise. Now, to be perfectly honest, I don't know much about Cars. The franchise came out like during my younger teen years. I was kind of too cool for school, so Pixar movies weren't really the thing. You know, how stupid was I, right? But I didn't really watch Cars 1, and I skipped out Cars 2, and so I didn't really have backstory going into Cars 3, so I couldn't just pick up and go and watch this movie, which made the trailer so much more interesting. Not knowing much from the franchise, it still gave me this intrigue of like, what the hell is going on? But I showed Cars 1 to my daughter the other day. By the way, I had no idea how much Cars stuff there is out there. Like if you go onto Disney Plus, like there's shows, there's little shorts. They have a spin-off movie. I did not realize how popular Cars was. But I gave Cars 1 a watch and I liked it a lot actually. I think I've seen it before actually, but I don't remember it. But rewatching Cars 1 with my daughter, great movie, fun. Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. Cool. So after watching the trailer for Cars 3, again, I can't remember what movie I was watching. I just remembered trailer, movie, leaving the movie theater, and thinking about that trailer. I can't remember which movie I was watching. But I remember having this trailer in my head for a while. So once we finished Cars 1 and Cars 2 at home, I was kind of excited to watch Cars 3 because of trying to understand what this trailer was. Obviously, they're not going to off Lightning McQueen. He's a very popular children's character. And I don't think it will be received well if the scene after the tumble was him flatlining. So I'm sure it was just clickbaity, but after coming out Cars 3, I actually think they did a pretty good job taking a dark trailer and making it a lighter movie. I'm not going to get too much into the plot. Essentially, the story is about Lightning McQueen becoming his mentor that Doc was in the first movie. He's not as fast as he was, and now his new sponsor brings a trainer along for him, but the trainer ends up being the new face of the company. So it's very much passing the torch. It's a decent movie. I think the trailer does really well to sort of set up the tone for Cars 3. It's not as serious as what the trailer presents, but the story in it is actually a pretty, I wouldn't say adult, but it's a pretty mature story. What I mean is Cars 2 is really silly, Mater is the forefront of the whole thing pretty much, and Lightning McQueen's storyline kind of feels like a backseat. But with Cars 3, you have this story about Lightning McQueen getting older. Cars 3 is a decade after Cars 2. A lot has changed. And we see an older Lightning McQueen going out there, still racing, but hitting his limit and not being able to be the fastest on the track. And that starts to mess with him. And his sponsors bring a trainer on to help him train to become a better racer. And through the process, he teaches that racer a few tricks, but ultimately shows that racer is a better racer than him because she's in her prime. He's not there anymore. I don't think this story is able to happen if we go from Cars 2 to Cars 3 without the time in between and that very dark trailer. It's very interesting. It showcases what the story's about. And to be perfectly honest, it's fucking horrifying. So is the trailer kind of clickbaity? I don't think so. Now, if Cars 3 was like Cars 2, where you can tell Disney was just trying to push a character rather than the narrative, then yeah, okay. But this movie actually shows depth. It shows maturity. It deals with getting older. And I think they did a good job with it. It's not the greatest story of all time, but I think they did a great job taking a very known character like Lightning McQueen and bringing him down a notch. Becomes the mentor he had in Cars 1, and the new driver in Cars 3 gets the sponsorship that he wanted from Cars 1. I think it's a very fitting circle that pretty much rounds out his story. And you don't really see that a lot in children's movies. But none of that is possible without that trailer and to get people intrigued to watch this movie. I think for as dark as that trailer was, it really did a good job in trying to establish a tone. And sure, maybe it could have been a little less shocking, but going from a movie like Cars 2, where it's all fun and haha, Mater's here, to a very serious subject in Cars 3, I think it did a great job. That's my thought on the Cars 3 trailer. Like, that trailer has been in my head for a very long time, so I'm glad that I finally have the outlet to let it all out. Like and subscribe, watch another video, stay for a little bit. Anyways, be good to each other. You know what's crazy about this trailer? It's just like, technically cars are people in this world. So you see him tumbling and like him getting ripped apart. Imagine that was a person. Like, it's so weird. This trailer's so weird because like, imagine it was an actual like thing. Like, in their world, Lightning McQueen is being ripped apart. What?